Doing some camera experimentation here. Hopefully this is a better angle. If you get a better view of this now, please drop me a comment. I'd like to be done with trying to figure out how to do the video angles in the shop here. But lighting will continue to be a problem. I have limited space. I put a challenge out on Facebook in my last YouTube where I did a mystery carving. This one's not going to be a mystery carving. WhittlinMunky, if you haven't seen that young man, he's 15 years old and a very talented little carver already. Just full of creative ideas and inspiration. He carved this funky little banana, you know, just simple, fun carving. And apparently a friend of his told him to make it, so he did. And I said, hey, there could be a fruit theme for you now. Do an entire fruit basket idea. And he proceeded to say, now you need to make one. And he's a big follower and subscriber. So in the spirit of that, I made a mystery video carving a fruit for all of you to guess what it is. This is my favorite type of carving, by the way. Just you're like, hey dude, you don't really lay out very often. So there's repeatable stuff. Like I did the snowman. Unfortunately, the video angle with my hands was terrible, and I do apologize for that. Like I said, we'll get it right. Sometimes I just like to carve by the seat of my pants. I think this is more the concept of whittling. I don't know. A lot of conversations and thoughts and ideas about the difference between carving and whittling. And maybe there is no difference. Maybe it's just nomenclature. Cultural nomenclatures where we seem to have adopted both and now can't distinguish them. Heard a lot of variations. Gene Messer calls himself a whittler. Just carving, having fun, making chips fly. Kind of his definition. Doug Linker commented after Gene's video on one of his videos that, you know, he made a comment about Gene's comment, and I'd seen that video, and he agreed. I'm a whittler. He goes, I like to watch chips fly. And I don't know what the true definition is. In all fairness, I don't care. I just want to have fun, but clearly I care enough to bring it up. I think it's just an interesting conversation, the nomenclature of, are you a carver, are you a whittler? Anyway, the young man who challenged me, his name is WhittlinMunkys, so if you haven't seen him, go over there and give him a watch and like and subscribe and drop him some comments. He's very engaged, very excited about carving. So, whittling. I use the terms interchangeably, but yeah, go over there and check him out for sure. He's got a good future ahead of him for somebody who can carve in such a short period of time. Okay, what are you doing, Dave? What are you doing? What are you doing? We're gonna try something wild and crazy. True carving rookie style. I am going around this hat. Just taking those factory edges off, and surprise, it's the hat. I think if you watch any of my videos, you know when I start carving like this, it's gonna be a hat. But yeah, I get my round just by working slowly around the piece, taking sharp edges off. November 11th today, it's Remembrance Day. And we got a whack of snow. Now, depending where you live, that might not be a big deal. But let me just set the stage here. In southwestern Ontario, where I am, it's not uncommon for them to get snow an hour from me in November. It is uncommon for me to get any of it. So we got a full day of snow. Thankfully the water didn't stick, but there's at least an inch. If you travel west of me, the snow gets a little deeper. I think the Watford area's got a few inches. That being said, it's my mother-in-law who said that to me. She's up in that area. And I don't know if she knows what an inch looks like. Sorry for watching this. I love you. The old joke about people who don't know what an inch is. Context. An inch can change depending on what you're talking about. I was pretty much done, and now I'm farting around. Okay, let's get the count. That was one farting around. How many farting rounds did you get so far? 3 minutes into the video and I'm farting around. Fart around and find out. Feel another shirt coming on. Let's clean that brim up a little bit. Put a little base on there. Wow, that line actually worked out. Whoop whoop. Doug Linker do it all the time, and it's like, and it does perfectly. And mine usually don't line up when I get around the corner, but this time they kind of did, which is major bonus. The infamous end grain. Here we go again. The topic of topics. If you don't see my other videos where I bring this up, but here's the thing. End grain is life with carving. Best friend, worst enemy. If you know which way your grain is going to pop off, it's much easier to hog it out. But this is obviously end grain. This is obviously end grain. When I carve in this piece here, all this exposed section is end grain. Agreed? If I cut this piece right off, that would be the end grain. This is the end grain. So when I come back this way, I catch wood. See that? This too is end grain because it's exposed because I cut this way. Now it's the end grain. So where's the end grain changes constantly, right? So what has to happen here, because it's concentric rings on a tree, the old how old the tree rings, is if you want to carve a belly into something, you literally have to get really finicky thin, right? And get in there and get like between this line, I'm coming this way, super thin to just get them both on that same line, that same ring, I guess, okay, to make that go away. The only other way to make it go away, you can see you can do it, see that? The only other way to make that go away that I know of, so if you have an idea or comment on how to make that happen, just drop me, you know the drill. Share the wealth, because if I'm thinking it, some of you out there watching this are as well. But the only other way I could think of to really remediate this issue in the belly is sanding after, post-processing of the carving, just to get it smoother. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I personally don't like to do a lot of sanding, but that's just who I am. Alright, yeah, I caught myself, thankfully. I boldly carved where I didn't want to be carving. And, to add insult to injury, the area I tried to clean up Decided to fart around on me with that grain, so let's get the base docked in here so I don't go chopping it clean off. I feel that in my future. You're thinking, is he doing another mystery carving? Why aren't you telling me what you're carving? And it's really not a secret. I'm just not going to tell you. Okay? How about that? I'm going to tell you. I'm doing... So yesterday I did a mystery carving after being challenged by WhittlinMunky. And today... I want to do something fast. How fast can I carve something to get up, take on that challenge and get rid of it? But today I want to put a little more effort into something. A little more oomph. That was just a fun, easy mystery carve yesterday. So today, that grain is something, eh? Look at that. It's funny. Carving up on the other side, the grain wants to split. Carving down, it goes crazy. On this side, carving down is being the problem. Carving up is not. Oh, that'll be fine for the purposes of this. Get my front hooked in there. That's why we wear gloves. Well, that was an interesting, we're not fixing that as far as I'm going to have a base. So I'm just going to leave the rest of the base on, continue my carving, and let nature take its course where it comes to the base. Sometimes the carving you plan on making a base, I could always make the base separately. Let's not get too concerned about that. That's the reality of it. But yeah, that was an oops. You saw it here. I'm leaving it in. You know, and my entire carving experience gets shared. The good, the bad, the ugly. So you're carving along and you have a little oops like that. vGouges, I'm notoriously oopsing. Carving away and bam. Like, you didn't mean to carve a V over there. Case in point, this guy I carved yesterday. I decided for some crazy reason to try and do an A. Just to see if I could do it. But worst case, I'll carve the base off. Well, cut the base off. Needless to say, I didn't cut the base off yet. I coated more than a few pieces with that TerraNova oil that I bought as an experiment after watching Doug Linker showing how he uses it. And it's been a positive experience painting things that have been treated with that. So it's like a lot of guys like to dip in linseed oil or boiled linseed oil, BLO, before painting. Doug does a nature oil, TerraNova Nature. Not even the full word nature in there, just nature. me to put you out of misery and tell you what I'm carving? Carving a banana. Going right for the juggler. WhittlinMunky. I'm gonna carve your banana with a spin. Well, part of the spin just got chopped off with the base, but c'est la guerre. That is the war, as they say in French. Remember, this grain is silly in here, so trying to control the chaos. There's a video advertisement that continuously shows up for me. It's a woodworker, true woodworker, guy makes furniture and stuff. And he says, the mark of a true artist is not how many times he messes up. It's his ability to fix his mistakes so that the rest of the world doesn't see them. I kind of agree with that. Not that I consider myself an artist by any stretch, but it applies to everything, not just wood carving, obviously. That's a pretty strong statement. Pretty strong statement, to be honest. Think about everything you do. You do a little project at home, patch the wall. You know, your better half is ecstatic about the fact that you patched the wall. It looks so good. And you sit on the couch and you see that spot. You can see exactly where it is. You can see every little grain, every little piece that you were like, ah, and you eventually gave up on it. No one else sees it. No one else sees it. A trained eye might see it. Well, a trained eye would see it. But here's the thing. If you got a friend coming to your house, looking at that drywall you did, that your wife is so proud of, and he's got the skills to do better, and he didn't volunteer his services, and has the audacity to lip off, is he really your friend? Of course he is. All my friends are mouthy. But he should have been there helping you in the first place, so that you wouldn't have that conundrum. A little bit of roundness here. Get that factory finish off. Hey, we're on the other side. Where I want to carve the other way. So we just spin her around. Little chip cut in there. Just get those chip cuts lined up. inside the bottom of the nose. Take a chip out of there. Maybe a little deeper. All right. Didn't like how the eye area was not the flat part here wasn't equal or closer to equal. How about that? Take my ugly cuts off the side of the nose. There we go. Down here. Now, using just the tip section of this knife, I am swooping up. Can you see that? Just trying to swoop up a little bit. I'll come down to the swoop on the side of the nose. This is a micro V cut that I'm doing here. I didn't take enough off here. Okay. Just going down just ever so slightly in there. Clean your work area, young man. Yeah, there's a little janky section there. Alright, so we got a nose, we got eyes. We've got a really stiff upper lip here, so I'm going to just flatten this area a little bit. Okay. Now, I don't know what kind of nose a banana has. I went out and looked at the bananas on my counter and said to myself, if you had a nose, where would you be? In the interest of cleanup in this small piece, I actually just scooped from the bottom of the nose, that flat plane, and just extended it all the way to the top. Still look good. Like that. There's no right, there's no wrong. Flatten this mouth area out a little bit. Put the tip of my knife in, went around gently. All right. And I just took my little corner out. I'm just going to do the same all the way up to that little cut that I did. Remember, just go shallow. Ever so shallow. Now, smart thing I did was put one of the default settings back on my GoPro that I had taken off, because every time I touched my GoPro, it was like beep, 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 beep. Here a beep, there a beep. Still going around just doing the bottom where it cut. But yeah, one of the smartest things I did was turn that darn beep back on, because I've been having issues. So I got two GoPros, an older one and a new one, a 13 that I'm using for doing my video, you know, and the fun, interesting thing about the GoPro is for no reason whatsoever, it'll just stop recording. If you have your beep off, you don't know when it's decided to take a break. And I have carved more videos where I come in and I go to edit the video and like the whole first section is done. I did a different video, I didn't even put it up. It was this guy. Did an entire video of this guy. Carving him from a blank. The whole first section up to like roughing it out, didn't record. And it's a lot of work to go back, I'm telling you. But yeah, I'll just start over, so it doesn't bring me joy, so I'm not doing it over again. Alright. Sometimes angle's your friend here when it comes to carving. So what am I doing? I'm just gonna carve him a little bit of a bottom lip using the tip of my blade. You know, I left that in just as a reference for you and me. Okay, just carving in a little bit, and I'll carve up. I don't know if we're calling that a V cut or what we are, but I'm just gonna carve up a little more. Okay. Alright, we're not looking for pretty right now. Now, short of the color yellow, I would arguably look at this and go, cool, he's a pickle. So we definitely need to put more of a bow in that belly. So we're going to do that. Because the last thing I need is listening to WhittlinMunky tell me that I look like I have a yellow pickle that I painted. Not that there's anything wrong with carving pickles, especially at Christmas time apparently. Pickles are, I don't know if you, if you're in the central U.S., in the north area there, if you've ever been to a place called Frankenmuth in Michigan, I can't remember the town, but, well, the town is called Frankenmuth, but I can't remember what it's up nearby. You know, that up Highway 75 kind of deal north of Detroit. And it is a Bavarian village that is Christmas all year. And it is one of my wife's happiest places on earth because she's a big Christmas nut. She loves Christmas. She loves everything about Christmas except that it falls in December when it's cold. My bride is a fair weather Canadian. So it's kind of cool. It gives them a little bit of a chin profile there. So now we'll just get the rest of this bucked in here and hopefully we'll be able to pull that off. Trying to speed the process up here a bit, knowing that the grain is aggressive in this space. That was a very hand covering, but it's was my deal. Like that. Just a little more controlled. And I guess the just as I did that, the other way of cleaning that up would be really old school, but it would work like a top. If you just had a sharp blade, you could scrape that until it was all in the same ring. The worst part is thinking, well, every freaking time you turn around, there's some new catchy song that gets stuck. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. Just that it gets in your head, you trip over it everywhere you go. And the one that went through my work and drove me insane was the Chicken Banana song. And of course, WhittlinMunkys banana carving video. What song's playing? Chicken, banana, chicken. Should have challenged them to carve the chicken. Maybe I just did, WhittlinMunky. Maybe I just did. Chicken and banana. You got the banana? Let's see your chicken. Just rounding and tapering at the same time here. Just trying to get the shape of the banana to be a little more of this shape, and the back. Grain management 101. If it does something ugly like this, turn around and do it the other way. And when it's ugly, do it light. Make shallower cuts. Okay, that's got a little more of a banana shape. A little portly at the bottom. Not seeing a whole lot of flat. A happy little guy, I'll give him that much. Gonna go a little deeper on the top, give him a little more of a predominant upper lip. When I was doing that lip, going a little deeper with the carbon lip at the top, the carbon lip. Think and carve at the same time. I had chipped the bottom lip there, so no big deal. Just go over that line again, make it a little deeper too. There we go. Gouge the side of that nose a little bit, leaning it towards the nose. Help me with a little bit of that cleanup. All right. Switch into my little Badger State. This is my lion's share of it carved with the OCC Mike Shipley. And now I'm just working under the face here. So the little cuts to try and line up the ugly. A real game of patience. Back and forth. Huh. I got up a couple hours ago and my dog just decided it was time to wake up. I guess you need all that beauty sleep. pays off. It's a big surprise. Let's do this. Let's do something different here. Still gonna have a base. It's just not gonna be as big a base. And hopefully it will still do a reasonably good job for us of keeping this banana upright. So I've said it time and time again. I carve because I like to carve and I like to have fun doing what I want to do when I want to do it. That's just where I am today. So let's carve what we want. Yeah, I had some obligatory stuff, but technically I wanted to do it. Like the Santas for my kids and the snowmen. And, you know, on a roll, realistically, when you're on a roll, you can hammer those out. Especially if you're not doing a lot of variation between them. Now, the helmet. Here's the thing. See how much of a brim I've got around them? That wasn't an accident. Now I'm going to start about 1/4 of the way up, and I'm going to do a swoop. Okay. Put 1/4 of the way up on the other side of the head, and a swoop. Right to the top. Okay. Now I'm just going to work my way around with that same swooping action, which is using the tip of my knife. Now, I may date myself here, but this could be an LL Cool J hat. One of those sweet Kangles. Okay? But it's not. Alright. This is, here's how quick things change for me. Like I said, the wood speaks to me. I guess that sounded ridiculous. So right from the beginning, I said it was Remembrance Day. And I was going to carve a banana with a soldier's helmet on. And then give him some arms, you know. That kind of a deal. But as I started doing that swoop up, I was going to round the top, and that's basically a helmet at that point. I realized this guy is meant to be somebody different. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I can't do that to you, man. I know where you were meant to be.
So you will be.
This guy needs to be chilling by a pool bar somewhere. He's a banana after all, he's tropical. The wrong time, just look for a sacrificial knife to scrape, see if that would do a better job. I might call this my scraping knife now. This is over a 2-inch blade, which I'm not a big fan of the big blades. And it's also a no-name blade. Thank you, sacrificial blade. You nameless blade have found a purpose. That's look at that side, came out pretty good actually. Well, that side left a little bit to be desired. That nameless knife, but there we go. We got one banana, chill banana. Now he needs a Hawaiian shirt, some arms, hanging tan. You see it? The beach banana. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you want to see me paint this, drop a comment. I'm gonna put arms on them, given the hang tan. Not sure I can pull off a Hawaiian shirt, but maybe I need to do that before we leave. Maybe he needs a collar just to make it real. If I'm gonna pull off a Hawaiian shirt, I need some kind of a D mark, don't I? That might just solve our neck problem too. Yeah, remember I said the vGouge and I aren't the best of friends just yet? So, in my lovely carving around, farting around video, we let the wood take the wheel, go with an idea, and nature will take its course. But this guy is enormous. He's a big, beefy little banana. So I, putting it under his head there to give him a little bit of a appearance of a head. All right, let's have a peek. Now we can see a clear line where I can paint him a Hawaiian shirt. What do you think? Like, subscribe, follow. Feel free to carve your own. Share the video with your friends.